Nichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha Parsha Tetzaveh Yehi Ratzon V'Limud Shebelerfuat Kol HaCholim U'V'tocham Tanya V'Toda Magalit Yosef Yair Ben Achava Arav Sivan Ben Sima B'Toch Kol Shach Chol Yisrael. Be'ezat Hashem, we all know we're entering into Parsha Tetzaveh and we're entering into Purim. And the question all the Chaver are asking themselves, deep in their neshamas, is what's the connection between Parsha Tetzaveh and Purim? And obviously Aiden doesn't know, goalkeeper doesn't know, we don't even know who's here. Anyway, AJ Lindebaum doesn't know, Kobe Lindebaum doesn't know, and Rav Albert isn't sure.
Eisenberg.
We know that Parsha Tetzaveh can be summarized be'etzem in one word. The one word to summarize Parsha Tetzaveh is clothing. We have an entire Parsha teaching us about the ephod and the choshen and the tzitz. An entire parsha dealing with clothing. And we have to take one step back and say, who cares? Seriously, who cares? I understand that you need vessels. I understand that you need a mishkan. But if you wore a green or a red or a purple or a pink shirt, do you really care? Does it really matter to you how the clothing, what color they were, how they were built, how they were sewn? I don't think any of us are making clothing right now. I don't think any of us actually care. So we're going to Parsha Tetzaveh with the biggest question in the world. Why is there an entire parsha dealing with clothing? And maybe what we're trying to educate the world is that we don't actually know what clothing are. When Rabbeinu Rav Nachman from Breslov teaches that most of the world... Again?
Nachman.
Most of us think that clothing are a presentation to others. That we put on a suit to show to other people that we are primary. We put on a suit to show that we're getting married. We put on a suit to show that we're working. We do all these suits and we put them on to show everyone else our presentation. Comes Rav Nachman and says it doesn't make any sense. Because the halacha says that a Talmid Chacham who has a pgam on his clothing is chayav mita. Why in the world, if there's a little pgam on a shirt, does that mean that a Talmid Chacham is chayav mita, says Rav Nachman? Because the clothing are a presentation not to the world but to yourself. The clothing you wear are presenting to yourself how you perceive yourself, how you want to identify yourself, who you are and what you are. And so the clothing are not a presentation to other people, they're an understanding of who you are. And so when the Kohen is wearing a tzitz, it's not for other people to see it. It's because it gives him a mindset of who he is. Then when he looks in the mirror and he sees tzitzit, and he's walking next to the turtle in Maryland, he says to himself, oh, this is who I am. And when he walks around and he wears a certain hat that says on a burger's bar, he knows who he works for. He knows who his identity is. He knows what he's searching for. He knows what his vision is. And so teaches Rav Nachman that the whole idea of Parsha Tetzaveh is that we have to redefine clothing not as something that's going outward, but it's going inward. We wear it because it's who we want to be. And that is the introduction into the costumes. The costumes make us realize not that we're making a joke out of ourselves, not that we're wearing costumes that make us look like idiots or that make us look like fools, but they show us an image of what we're looking to be. That we get dressed up as Rav Kook, that we get dressed up as the Piasatz Rebbe. Of course we're not, but that's what we're looking for. And the idea of wearing the clothing on Purim is to realize that Mordechai wore Bigdei Malchut, not because he was a melech. There was no country, but he wanted that. That's what he was looking for. And so my bracha, when we're going into Parsha Tetzaveh, in the preparation for Purim, that we learn to rethink what clothing are. That they're not in order to impress, but they're in order to indent. I'm not putting on my clothing to impress someone. I'm indenting in myself. Who do I want to be? What do I want to become?